Thank you. Thanks. Hello, everyone. Oh, that's very loud. We'll talk very softly. How are you guys doing? Good session so far? Some really good insights going on here. So very exciting. But thanks for having us. Really excited to be here and share some of our innovation experience. And our intent of the discussion today is to share some of our experience with open innovation, what we found works really well, kind of our process for innovation. And I'd really love to have an interactive dialogue. So I'd love it if I'm not doing all the talking. If this is too loud, just let me know. I'll try to talk a little bit more softly. But I don't have a lot of material. Like I said, I'd love to talk about our mutual experiences with open innovation. Before I get started, just a quick poll, so there is a test. How many folks have worked with either crowdsourcing or open innovation types of tools before? Yeah? Excellent. All right. So we're going to share some experiences, and I'm going to send out some of the questions to you guys, but I'd love to hear your experience as well. But just real quick, to get us started, kind of food for thought. I didn't do that, did I? Last year at GE, we sponsored 5 campaigns at corporate for open innovation, leveraging collaborative innovation with communities of experts who were not GE employees. And we had over 4,800 solvers or experts participate in the campaigns that we sponsored in just 5 campaigns, and generated nearly 7,400 new product designs, new process designs, new solutions in those 5 campaigns. So if you can imagine the amount, just in your own world, with your own businesses, the amount of activity that you can accomplish by engaging in collaborative innovation models. There are a lot of different ways to approach it. Just the sheer amount of inspiration that you can get out of open innovation and crowdsourcing projects is pretty exciting. So of the 4,800 team members that participated in these campaigns, not one of them was a GE employee. So it is really inspiring the amount of collaboration that can exist if you just kind of reach out to the right communities. So really, as we've seen, gosh, I'm sorry, guys. Am I doing that, or? One moment, please.
Our day will come, and we'll have everything. We'll share the joy. Falling in love can bring. No one can tell me that.
Hello? All right, we're back. So as we've seen and as we believe, the business of getting business done is increasingly everybody's business, which means that businesses that aren't yet thinking about how to engage in collaborative innovation, leveraging ideas, inspiration, and effort outside of your own core working team, you might increasingly find yourselves at a disadvantage, because there is a tremendous wealth of talent and expertise and resources available through open innovation and crowdsourcing that can give you the advantage and the resources, the skills that you need in order to advance your own startup objectives. So as you're trying to scale your businesses, leverage these resources and this help to accelerate and expand your own objectives. So again, what we're sharing with you today is our experience with open innovation here at GE. I run the Center of Excellence for GE that is really focused on making open innovation and crowdsourcing a core competency across our entire business. So we're on our own journey. So just like the startup journey, we're we're just starting the process to embed the use of these tools across all of our business operations. So we're a bit of a startup of ourselves as well. So with that said, I thought I'd share with you our definition of open innovation. Everybody has a very different kind of perspective on what open innovation and crowdsourcing is. But we're defining it very broadly, very specifically meaning that open innovation in our world means reaching out to resources that are not on your direct team in order to accomplish established business priorities, to engage in specific business activities. So for GE, we are a company that is a conglomerate made up of many, many different business units and business teams. And so we engage in open innovation working across business units and working with resources outside of the company. For us, open innovation is working with any resources not on our direct teams. Internal, external, public, private, disclosed, undisclosed. It's a very, very flexible tool. For those of you that have worked with open innovation before, you know that there are a lot of ways that you can structure open innovation, and there are a lot of resources out there that you can leverage. And we affectionately refer to the community of solvers in open innovation as the global brain. It's this tremendous resource, intellectual capacity and physical capacity that you can leverage against your business priorities. So I apologize, the formatting's off a little bit here, but just let's spend a couple minutes, if we can, with the why of open innovation. Why engage in open innovation and crowdsourcing versus more traditional means of just getting business done? And for us, at the core of it, we engage in open innovation to increase our optionality. And I'm going to share a couple of very specific examples with you. We had a team, a healthcare team, that was basically building out a product roadmap that required very specific capabilities. And those capabilities were very unique. We didn't have them in-house, and we only knew of one supplier in our existing ecosystem that we thought might have these capabilities. But we were looking for the ability to produce high precision, high tolerance parts using additive manufacturing with advanced materials. And we knew of one supplier that we thought could do that, but we needed more options in order to support our product roadmap. So we engaged in an open innovation program. We sponsored a global campaign using a vendor and just published a call for the capabilities that we were seeking. And in the course of the campaign, we received 22 proposals from suppliers around the world that said, hey, yeah, I think I might have what you're looking for, and here's evidence of my capabilities. So from those proposals, those 22 proposals, we down selected to 10, and we sent those 10 a small production budget and a small supply of powder, and we gave them 3 months to produce prototypes to kind of get a sense, a real sense for what their capabilities were. At the end of those 3 months, everyone sent their prototypes back to us, and we had them tested at our Global Research Center in New York, and we down selected to 3 grand prize winners that truly demonstrated exceptional capabilities with additive manufacturing and advanced materials. The reality of it is all 10 of those finalists that moved into the second phase of the competition are now prospective partners for us. Many of them demonstrated very unique and exceptional capabilities that our business teams are continuing conversations with. So open innovation is a really great way to expand your ecosystem of resources. It's just a great way to push out a digital call and see what you can get back. Another example is less supply chain oriented, but we wanted to see if we could reimagine existing products, existing parts, and apply new technologies, new materials that were becoming available and commercially viable and use the assumption of new materials, new approaches to reimagine our product design. So in this example, we took an existing jet engine bracket design. This product hadn't been reimagined for years. It was a cast product, and for this particular product, our strategy had been, compliance and cost management for that part. Knowing, however, that additive manufacturing is becoming increasingly commercially viable, we wanted to see what the global brain could do to reimagine that product design, assuming an additive approach. And so we pushed out the call, again, using another open innovation vendor and working with their community of product designers and manufacturing engineers. And we had them see what they could do with the product design. We received close to 700 new product designs for that one jet engine product in this one campaign. The winning design reduced part weight by 84%. So if you're familiar with the aviation industry, weight means fuel consumption means cost. So the epiphany of this particular campaign was that if you take new approaches, take new methodologies, new materials, if you pair that with the global brain, mix it up, see what you can do to reimagine products, reimagine markets, products, you can achieve some transformational results by leveraging the global brain. In this particular case, it was an experiment for us. We focused only on this jet engine bracket. If you think about all the parts that make up a jet engine, much less a jet, and where you might be able to start, may be able to start applying some of those same design principles and additive manufacturing to take cost out of a jet engine or a jet, it could have the potential to take a lot of cost out of the aviation industry. You think outside of the aviation industry, take those same design principles to power generation equipment, to healthcare equipment. You can extrapolate the benefits across a very diverse arena of market opportunities. So for us, this one experiment was really a seminal moment for us. But again, just leveraging the global brain. This was a recent campaign. We just concluded this campaign a couple weeks ago. But our energy management team produces like circuit breakers, industrial circuit breakers, and industrial kind of energy management equipment. And they had received some feedback from their customers that the toggle switch to turn circuit breakers on and off, that up-down switch, was kind of boring and hadn't been rethought for a very long time. So the team thought it would be interesting to put that redesign challenge out to the global brain and ask the global brain to reimagine the circuit breaker interface for our customers and try to come up with something more ergonomic, if you will. And you can see one of the winning designs. We chose 5. I love these designs. We really reached out to the design community and asked them to be really creative and try to think out of the box to reimagine the hardware interface for our customers. We received 25 design options. We now have 22 potential partnerships, again, entrepreneurs that are very creative, that we could bring into our industrial design conversations. And we have 5 new designs for this product. So again, leveraging the global brain, you can really extend the physical and the intellectual capacity of your teams. If you have resource constraints, if you have skill set constraints, or if you simply want to expand the optionality from which you can choose, leveraging open innovation and crowdsourcing is a really effective tool to do that. We're, as I mentioned, we are taking a very broad definition of open innovation, and we're applying it across the board. And so if you imagine your businesses, right, and everything that it takes to achieve your business priorities for the year, you have different types of business activities that you have to manage. You have the administrative functions, things like finance, IT, HR, et cetera. You have your roadmap opportunities, those things that you know you have to accomplish in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. You have your core competencies, those things that make your business unique, right? Those things that differentiate you from the other alternatives in the market. And then you have your crown jewels, right? Those things that are the most proprietary, that are highly distinguished, and that are the true essence of what your business is, right? So as you work to the inner circle from very kind of highly routinized administrative functions all the way into those things that are highly differentiated, highly proprietary for your business, there are, across that full spectrum, there are ways to apply crowdsourcing and open innovation to help you accelerate and expand the outcomes that you can achieve. You're going to want to structure open innovation projects for core competencies and crown jewels a lot differently than you will structure open innovation and crowdsourcing for administrative functions. You'll want to be much more careful about structuring confidentiality, rights to use the assets and the insights are going to be much more structured for the core competencies and the more proprietary aspects of your business, but there are ways to accomplish that. So think, if you are trying to think about ways to extend your resource base or extend your business, grow your business more quickly, think about the crowd or the global brain as an extension of your team. There are ways to do it. So how does it work? This is vastly oversimplified, but basically you just identify those areas in your business, those business activities where you'd like some help, you'd like to explore some help. You identify and prioritize those opportunities. You decide what communities of experts are going to be best suited, are going to have the best skill sets, the best resources and skill sets to match the business activity that you've chosen, and you publish that problem statement or that business activity out to the right community of solvers. You give them a designated period of time to accomplish that activity. They take that time to generate their solutions, and they return their proposals, their submissions back to you for your consideration. Once you have that pool of submissions, you then down select those that are most promising based on your objectives. You select those, you award those, and then you integrate those solutions back into your business, whether it's new product design, new process design, new supplier onboarding, whatever it is. At that point, you move on with your own business, you integrate that back in, and hopefully you have a portfolio of these activities that are you're leveraging the global brain for. So you have an ongoing portfolio of business activities that you're leveraging open resources right alongside in parallel with the business activities that you are leveraging your traditional kind of dedicated resources for. So it should theoretically be parallel activity. So why it works. This may be pretty obvious. I've tried to just kind of illustrate it on the page, but historically, let's just take the R&D function as an example, right? One example of many. But your R&D funnel, historically, without open innovation, would be constrained by your existing resources, the resources that under your employ, or the resources maybe in your supplier network with whom you work. And that R&D funnel, the ideas you're able to generate and the ideas you're able to work and fund are going to be constrained by your physical resources, the people that you have on board, the suppliers you have on board, and the funding that you have at your discretion. That's the traditional closed innovation model, basically a constrained resource funnel. With open innovation and crowdsourcing, you're now reaching out to the global brain. So you're perforating the walls of that funnel. You can now pull in ideas from the global brain that may be well beyond what you might be able to generate with your own existing teams. You can also leverage the global brain to work some of those ideas. So you can leverage work effort in addition to ideation. And so you're expanding the width of the funnel, and you're expanding the ability to work those ideas in that funnel. And as a result, you can also dramatically accelerate your time to market. We're seeing the ergonomic switch that I showed to you just a minute ago. We expanded the product launch cycle by 50%, shrinking product launch time from 8 years to 4 years just by leveraging open innovation to kind of pull in some of that development effort. So you can accomplish work faster and better than you might be able to accomplish using traditional resourcing methods. Questions? I'd like to have really at this point an open dialogue. Yeah.
Hold on. Question.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I have two questions for you. One is, of course, we cannot compare us ourselves with GE and the potential and the resources and tools and so on. So the question is, first, which tool do you use to broadcast those opportunities into the global brain?
Yep.
And the second would be, how do you make it also a win-win for them? Because you're talking about awards, which
really
is
important.
post-mortem. So basically, it's when it's done, then they get something.
Yeah.
And our experience is that nobody wants to do anything for nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
so I mean, if you do it for GE with the potential that you're looking for, might be that you're doing it for free.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't see that working for us as a small companies. Could
Really
you please
good
explain
questions.
more about that and maybe just suggest something that is
Yeah.
viable?
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to. And could everyone in the back hear those two questions, or would it be helpful to repeat? Good, good. All right. So your first question is about the platforms that you use to publish, and we use many. We work with open innovation partners, so vendors who are specialize in different aspects of open innovation and crowdsourcing. We typically will work with vendors who have curated a community of resources. So they're bringing an existing community of folks that have opted in based on their own areas of expertise and their own areas of experience. And so we will typically place our projects with vendors that are bringing communities of experts with us. And we're going to match the type of business problem to the community that has those skill sets. And I'll give you a couple of specific examples. We do a lot of work with a vendor called 9 Sigma, and they have a web portal that is used to house all of these individual projects, and they will dedicate a web page to your individual project. 9 Sigma has today a community of over 2 million solvers who are very equally weighted between large corporations, entrepreneurs, and academic institutions. And they're very good for technical, highly technical engineering, supply chain types of challenges. Conversely, we also do a lot of work with an open innovation vendor called Kaggle. And they have a community of solvers that have very, very sophisticated data science and machine learning expertise. We do work with another vendor called GrabCAD, and their community of solvers is very, very good at generating CAD models, so engineering design, product design. So we will match the nature of the problem to the community using, in most cases, our open innovation vendors platform to publish that. Of course, in addition to the platform and our vendors' outreach that they do within their solver community, we, of course, have the benefit of an amazing marketing machine at GE who then will overlay, in most cases, very, very effective marketing campaigns that just really amplify the outreach that the vendors are doing for us. So that's largely how we publish our problem statements. We also use vendor platforms that don't have communities of solvers associated with the platforms. and then we'll use social channels and our own analog relationships to bring in solvers for those campaigns. But we largely use existing communities of solvers.
Questions?
I think there was a part two I'd love to get to, just real quickly if I could. But it's an important question too, and it relates to the award strategy. So what's in it for the solvers? And we spend a lot of time when we're developing our campaign strategies thinking about how we marry up the right award strategy with the problem that we're publishing. And this formula is evolving with our experience, and I'm sure we'll continue to refine it over time, but we find it very effective to think through, based on the problem statement that we've chosen, what is the level of effort that we're asking from the solver community? How much time do we think they're going to need to invest in order to produce a successful proposal in that campaign? So level of effort, level of ownership transfer. So are we asking for solvers to completely sign over the intellectual property associated with their winning proposal? If so, we're prepared to pay more for an assignment of intellectual property. If we're just on a pure discovery path and we're just looking for ideas, then that's a lower payout quotient there. So level of effort, assignment of ownership. We also consider the market value of the solution that we're solving for. So is it a big kind of industry-changing, market-changing, world-changing type of solution that we're collaborating to solve for? And if so, we're going to offer a richer payout for that. So market value, and then degree of finish. So if we're asking for submissions that are still going to require a lot of development activity once we receive them, so we're going to have to take on a lot more development risk, testing risk, commercialization risk. We're going to pay less for lower degree of finish. We're going to pay more for commercial-ready types of solutions. And then lastly, we also consider the intangibles. So we're trying to structure as many of our campaigns as possible to identify partners. So at the end of the campaign, we hope to have a very good representation of capabilities in many cases that our business teams could then, once the campaign is finished, they could begin an ongoing dialogue with the winners for things like technology development, collaboration, technology licensing, technology acquisition, partnerships. So we're looking for ways to leverage open innovation to expand our ecosystem. So there are a lot of intangibles that we also consider in the overall kind of award strategy. But we have a long-term commitment to our relationship with the open innovation community as a whole. We want to make sure that it is mutually beneficial, that we're contributing back just as much as we're receiving from the solver communities, and that it's a sustainable relationship where we're identifying great talent, giving great talent a lot of great opportunities, investing in those communities so that we can have an ongoing mutually beneficial relationship. It's very important to us. Okay?
Another question.
Hi. What is your experience in patent-based platforms like Quirky?
Great question. So the question was, what is our experience with patent-based platforms like Quirky? We love Quirky. So we have a really great relationship with Quirky and are doing some just really interesting things with them. And I shared an example in an earlier talk today, but we love the dialogue that we can have with the Quirky community and the Quirky team. We bring kind of very long-standing traditional product lines to Quirky. We bring our patent portfolio to Quirky, and they engage their community and bring us fresh ideas, perspective, and help us test and commercialize the patents or the new product opportunities. So it's that kind of symbiotic relationship that we're looking for to kind of reimagine what we can deliver to our markets. We have also, through our ventures and licensing team at GE, we have explored a number of different models to we kind of refer to it as tech push and tech pull, right? Open innovation. So we have a lot of innovation that we've developed within our own teams at our Global Research Center in our engineering machines. And we've commercialized a lot of that, but there are still a lot of market opportunities that are outside maybe the boundaries of the markets that we choose to pursue, where those technologies could have some value. And so we're continuing to explore platforms where we might be able to make available our technologies and the materials, the tools that we've developed for potential commercial interest to other parties in other markets, where maybe we've leveraged the full commercial value in the markets that we operate in, but there could be ancillary markets that, that are outside the bounds of what we're going to commercialize that could be of value to someone else. So we're constantly exploring those. Corky is a really great example of that. Good question.
Any last question?
I think right here.
I was wondering the extent to which these sort of open innovation efforts had increased the sort of the number of patents coming into GE as opposed to the sort of traditional R&D model. Sort of, are you getting more from this startup outreach approach, or what's happening there?
Good question. Really good question. So we haven't seen a dramatic increase in the number of patents that our teams have filed as a result of open innovation. What we have seen is a dramatic acceleration for those teams that are engaging in the campaigns. We've seen a dramatic acceleration of time to market. We've seen a dramatic increase in the optionality, so the products and the solutions from which our teams can choose. They can pick and choose those products, those solutions that they want to take to commercial launch. So dramatic increase in optionality, dramatic increase in time to market, or decrease in time to market. We will patent some of the work that ultimately is derived from the open innovation efforts, but what we consider important is this commercial intensity that it's driving, the ability to connect and validate with the global brain, validate the products that we're going to be developing, and then speed them to market. So commercial intensity and optionality are really what we're focused on. It's a good question.
Okay, I think we have time for a last question if someone's got one.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm interested in that model that you mentioned, which I think is very original. As you get solutions from outside, do you have examples in which these people work with your teams in the acceleration process? And if that's the case, what type of confidentiality and agreements do you work?
Yeah, good question. We do, and I hope to see more of those kind of post-campaign partnerships. Like I said, we're beginning to structure more of the campaigns so that we open that door. But we have some really great partnerships, co-development partnerships that are currently underway as a result of our NFL Head Health Challenge. We sponsored a grand challenge in partnership with the NFL, and Under Armour is also involved, but to explore a very broad array of traumatic brain injury solutions. And we structured the challenge in a way that we first identified promising solutions in different categories, and then we established a development grant period where in 6-month intervals we would ask the down-selected winners and we gave them some development funding. We asked them to advance their technologies and advance their solutions and come back to us and have a conversation with us about what they'd learned and what improvements they've made in that 6-month period. And then we give them another development grant to take the next 6 months. So those development periods are still underway, but we're seeing really impressive work being done. And there's one startup in particular, one entrepreneur in particular, that is kind of speeding ahead of that development schedule. So they may need to just kind of step out of that campaign track and just move on to kind of full-scale development work. But we're seeing some really nice progress in that kind of structure. So as a result, we know it's a model that works, and we'd like to do more of that. Okay.
No other questions? All right, let's give Dyan a big hand.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care.